Welcome to Japan and the impressive Suzuka track for today's qualifying session, where we should be underway shortly. I'm expecting a strong showing here today from the Red Bull team. They really love this classic track and have had so much success at Suzuka over the years.
I think this could be a showdown between the Mercedes and Red Bulls today. The Red Bull team have enjoyed incredible success here over the years, but the Mercedes package could be too much for the Milton Keynes-based team.
Okay then, so I guess Anthony Davidson has just completely written off Ferrari this weekend. Alright, considering our pace for the past few Grand Prix is a bit bizarre, but anyway, welcome to the Japanese Grand Prix. In our Kimi Raikkonen career mode, we've just put our Japanese setup on, and as you can see here, starting our run in Q1. I thought we'd do things a little bit differently now after Singapore. I thought, let's just go out and do Q1, Q2, Q3, because actually this point where I started recording, you could change it, so you could do that. Remember when that's the thing, where you couldn't change what you wanted to do mid-season? Well, yeah, anyway. Never mind, here's the start of our qualifying lap, and as you can see, opening DRS, coming to the first corner, and already we've got quite a few cars coming out in traffic. We've just navigated past Jenson Button, as you got Carlos Sainz, Roberto Merri. Once again, he's definitely got something against me in this mid part of the season. Sainz got out of the way pretty well actually, so props to him. Now, this recording, I actually did like months and months after the Singapore one, so this is like, you know, basically the update everyone's got now on Xbox One. This is when this was recorded. This was only recorded about a month ago, I think. So I say only, it's still pretty bad. But never mind, we've got through the first sector anyway. We've gone purple, or as the F1 2010 engineer would say, purtle. You know, because that was cool having I think he was a Geordie engineer. But anyway, enough kerfuffle about that. We're just catching up to Grosjean as well now, so hopefully maybe we won't get in the way, or he won't be in our way through Spoon, and hopefully we can get actually a nice slipstream coming up to 130R. As we can see, gone slightly wide there, allowing still allowing for some track extended. I did try some strict corner cutting, but I just couldn't be arsed. It's like I don't take it seriously enough for, you know, me to put one tyre over the white line and get a warning. It's like I just can't be arsed. You know, it's a game at the end of the day. It's not a simulation game. You know, it's just a game. So, finishing off our lap on Q1, and it's a pretty competitive time, 1:35.6. So, pretty happy with that time.
The big news in this session is that Fernando Alonso was knocked out. It could be a long day at the office for the driver tomorrow.
For God's sake. The big news, Fernando Alonso in a McLaren Honda that's been 5 seconds off the pace is out. Surprise, surprise. For God's sake, commentators, what are you talking about? But we're on Q2 now. As you can see, still on another set of the option tyre. I completely forgot that I probably could have done prime tyres with these, but of course with this configuration as well, nowadays, you know, you use your Q2 tyre for the start of the race. I don't know whether that's actually implemented in this game, I haven't tried it out. But, as you can see, we've had no traffic at the start of this lap, so we should automatically have a faster first sector. And I'm just reinventing the circuit, I think, through the S's. That's, you know, it's some fairly new lines. But anyway, coming through Degner 2 now, this is where Lewis Hamilton beached it in, was it the qualifying or was it the race in 2010? I actually can't remember now. But he beached it there at some point and put it in the gravel. But you can see our temperature gauges as well. You can just see the heat in the rear tyres accelerating out of the hairpin. So that's something we're going to have to watch out for in the race, is rear traction. But cutting to a nice little TV replay, and have a look at this coming through the exit of Spoon. Look at this slide we get. Look at that! The Iceman, Kimi Raikkonen, putting good use of his rallying days there. I just thought that was a pretty cool moment as I went through the exit of Spoon. I thought, you know what, you'll want to see that. That was pretty cool. Coming through 130R now, famously where Fernando Alonso overtook Michael Schumacher around the outside. But that was a great move. But coming to finish off the lap now anyway, sliding coming out of the chicane. Really going to have to watch out for that in the race. And we do a 1:35.1. So we're about half a second faster than we were in Q1.
As we wait for the lights to go green on Q3, the drivers will be analysing their laps, trying to figure figure out where they can find that extra tenth or two, which could make all the difference.
Okay, not going to lie, I wasn't listening to him, but we were 1.8 seconds ahead of the Mercedes that session, so again, slightly worrying where the AI's pace is compared to mine. These are on the hardest difficulty. I will keep making that point every time because, you know, it's pretty unbelievable for me as well, to be honest, to finish a qualifying session in a Ferrari and find out you're 1.8 seconds faster. It's like, I'm sorry, what? But anyway, here's our Q3 lap now, and hopefully, you know, I really wanted to push below that 135 mark, so 134.9. You know, that for me would be a pretty stunning lap, to say the least. But not reinventing the circuit through this, keeping within track limits and actually not reinventing the S's. But coming through is it yeah, it's Degner 1 and Degner 2. Slightly make a mess of that. We did go purple in the first sector still though, so, you know, pretty convincing. Coming through the hairpin once again, we actually make a better exit this time than we did on our Q2 lap. And I've got to say, this lap did genuinely feel better than the lap I did in Q2. So, you know, I'm, as I say, hoping for that 134 lap time. I'm not even sure what the fastest lap is around this circuit, like, of all time. But not getting a power slide out of that corner, so hopefully we could be on board here for our 134 lap time. Slightly putting it on the grass coming into 130R, which is slightly worrying, but anyway, coming to the final chicane, braking now. Are we going to make it? Yes, we get that apex. We that was borderline corner cut. We get a power slide coming out of there. Going to take the line of shortest resistance, and it's a 134.1. 1 second faster.
Kimi Raikkonen finishes the session with the fastest lap and pole for tomorrow's race. What a brilliant performance by the Finnish driver.
It's been a great session for the team. They've really been pushing hard to make this happen, and their hard work has been rewarded. Okay,
what? We are 3.8 seconds faster than Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes. What? What? I mean, a 134.1 to start with. That was a second faster than our Q2 time. And then, what's going on? I'm just in disbelief here. I'm just flicking through 134.1 and then go to Hamilton 137.8. Like, what is that? 3.7. I'm just at a lot. And look, we didn't get any corner cutting things. So, Legend AI, I'm baffled. 3.6 seconds of, I don't know what was happening to the AI. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's get into the race. So here we are, guys, the Japanese Grand Prix. Many World Championships have been decided at this legendary circuit. Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost, Michael Schumacher, Mika Hakkinen, just some names that have won the World Drivers' Championship around here. But let's look at the grid. Roberto Merhi and Will Stevens at the back alongside with the McLarens. And rounding up the top 10, Pastor Maldonado, Bottas, Sainz, Kvyat, Ricciardo, Massa, then your standard top 4, Vettel, Rosberg, Hamilton, and ourselves in pole position. Here we are, lining up on the grid, and again we're going to choose our setup because I didn't trust Part Ferme on this game, so same setup as we had in qualifying, so no need to worry about that. It's going to be a traditional 2-stop apparently around here, so that'll be fairly interesting to see. Option and then Prime. Not really too sure about wears on this circuit or tyre wear because, you know, I didn't do any practice. But here we go. Lining up. 5 red lights are about to come on for the Japanese Grand Prix. And we're away for the Japanese Grand Prix. And as you can see, we get a pretty poor start. Unlike Singapore, where we managed to hold the lead. So Hamilton in the lead currently with Nico Rosberg taken to going off the track. Okay, that was a bit bizarre, but we managed to just get the lead back from Lewis Hamilton, but it's not over yet. We're still going almost wheel to wheel. We actually go off the track ourselves, and that's allowed Nico Rosberg to overtake his Mercedes teammate. So already a fair few position changes at the front of this race, and we go wide once again, and Nico Rosberg looking to get an undercut on us potentially, and we're going defensive through that curve because we got a pretty poor run coming through there. So coming through Degner 1, we go slightly wide, we're pushing a bit too hard, we go wide again through Degner 2 on the gravel, and as you can see, Nico Rosberg has actually managed to get past us on the start of the race. So he's now in the lead, coming to the hairpin. Hamilton just avoiding our rear tyre there. We could have been dropped down to third. Sebastian Vettel has managed to maintain his position in fourth place, but Nico Rosberg's trying to break out a bit of a gap now to ourselves, Kimi Raikkonen, at the start of this Grand Prix. So coming out of Spoon, we're going to have to try and get a good exit if we want to get past Nico Rosberg. We're much closer to him than we were earlier on, and Lewis Hamilton is actually dropped back from us now, so we're going side by side with Nico Rosberg coming to 130R. We had such good top speed there because we just overtook Rosberg and he just tucked in behind us. So slightly bizarre once again in this career mode to see Ferrari having superior top speed over Mercedes, but hey, I'm not complaining. It's got us into the lead, and now it's Kimi Raikkonen from Nico Rosberg, then Lewis Hamilton, then Sebastian Vettel. So the only position changes have been the two Mercedes in the top four, but we actually go slightly wide through the first corner there, trying to carry too much entry speed to break away from Nico Rosberg. And I tell you what, I am so glad at the moment we don't have 3.6 seconds over these guys at the start of the race, because that would have been so boring. But we actually run wide through the S's and we couldn't get the power on, we couldn't turn in, and Rosberg has just slipped it up the inside at the exit of the S's. Now Lewis Hamilton's right behind us. As you can see, the top four are so close, starting to break away from Valtteri Bottas, who doesn't quite have that downforce in the Williams, but down the straights we're expecting Williams to be quite competitive as we just go for a lunge down the inside of Rosberg. We don't make contact with him, thankfully, and he leaves us just enough room so that thankfully there was no incident between us there. But we join back on board with Kimi Raikkonen. We look to the inside, and Rosberg once again is just driven off the circuit. We've gone wide because we didn't know whether Hamilton was on our inside, so he now slips past us and just gives us a bit of a squeeze off track to not allow us to come on easily. But I'm really not too sure what happened with Nico Rosberg at all there, but we're going to go up the inside of Hamilton in 130R. We go wide, and now as we cut to the outside shot, it's me and Sebastian Vettel wheel to wheel. We lock up, we've missed the chicane, and now we're taken to the escape route, and Hamilton once again just squeezed us off, not allowing us to come back on the circuit. So now we've got the Williams of Massa, that is, actually, that's got past us, and Red Bull's Daniel Ricciardo got a good run, but just look how slow that Renault engine is. We're just able to pull back, and Massa with a cracker of a move around the outside of Hamilton, and we're going to look at a replay here, and oh, he's actually not round the outside, he's just gone to the inside, he's tucked back in, and then oh no, he's just ran wide. Okay, so by the time I got there, well, actually started looking at him, it looked like he'd just gone round the outside, but he'd just simply gone wide, which is a bit bizarre actually. The AI, you know, are tending to like to go wide going off the circuit so far, but so much action already at the start of this Japanese Grand Prix. We've just put it up the inside of Lewis Hamilton. Raikkonen throws his frustration, feels Hamilton probably should have given him more room. Now we're trying to get a switch back on Massa, but we're going to have a look at a replay now of us just getting up the inside of Hamilton there, and what happens. Oh! Ricciardo tries to go up the inside and Hamilton just collects him. So now we join back onto lap 3. We go up the inside and the hairpin on Felipe Massa. He just doesn't have the downforce in that Williams or the mechanical grip, as it appears, to do anything substantial. So we're just making mincemeat of that Williams so far, and Hamilton's right up behind him. So unfortunately for Williams, it doesn't look like it's going to be a circuit where they could get a potential podium, and they've even had Rosberg and Ricciardo knocked out. So unfortunate for them, Hamilton's already passed to lap 5 and broke away so much, you can see on the map. But at the moment, all we're focused on is catching our teammate Sebastian Vettel on lap 5, and as you can see, we're in his slipstream. Are we going to go? Yes, we go to the inside line. We're already past Seb. We have got some decent straight line speed with our setup. Clearly we must be running less wing or something, because we've been struggling a bit compared to the AI so far up the S's. So yeah, maybe the lower wing settings, allowing us to just get these overtakes done. And as you can see, 1:37.2, obviously nowhere near qualifying times yet. We're still on heavy fuel, but coming on to lap 7, I think this is going to be our pit stop lap. Yeah, we come into the pits now. They actually wanted us to pit lap 8, but my tyres just didn't feel any good whatsoever, so I thought we'll come in a lap earlier. Hopefully we'll try and get an undercut on any cars that come in, because Hamilton's staying out. Our teammate Sebastian Vettel actually has already come into the pit, so he came in lap 6, so very early pit stop. And look at this gap between Hamilton and Massa. That's Massa just going past us now. So Williams not really having any decent pace in this Grand Prix, so as I say, it's really not looking good for them so far. But mind you, we're ahead of Daniel Kvyat in the Red Bull, so really it does just look like a two-horse race between Ferrari and Mercedes at the moment. But coming through the S's now, gone onto the hard tyre, because I really, from past experience around Suzuka, I really dislike the harder tyre. So I thought, let's get this one out the way, see how far we can push it. And, well, unfortunately, we got onto lap 21, because once everyone made their pit stops, I just got so confused in this race. As you can see, we're on the option tyre. We came into the pits, changed over to option, and all of a sudden we're 20 seconds ahead of Lewis Hamilton. So I don't really understand. I've watched the whole race before editing, and I just have no clue what happened. We just had superior pace once it came to us switching over to the harder tyre. So I'm not really too sure what's going on there with that. But coming through Spoon now, lap 21, option tyre, seemed to be relatively decent, as we can see, no wear. So we must have come into the pits fairly recently. And as you can see, Hamilton's actually ahead of our teammate Sebastian Vettel, so he's managed to jump Seb through all these pit stops. We're going purple in the middle sector. So is this going to be a fastest lap from us? Coming to the chicane now, we balls that up entirely. Nice subtle corner cut there, Tom. Really nice. But come across the line, a 1:35.1, which is still faster than what the AI did in Q3, which I honestly don't understand what was going on there. But yeah, two-stop race they wanted, so we're currently on that two-stop strategy, because we did one stint on the hard tyres and then one stint on this option tyre. But because we were pushing so much, as you can see from the tyre wear indicator, our front tyres I didn't feel would make 4 more laps. So I think at the end of this lap we come into the pits for another set of option tyres. I'm not really too sure actually, because I know we've got a big enough gap to Hamilton. We've got something like 20 seconds over him. So I think, yeah, we're coming into the pits for a last set of option tyres, change it over to a last second 3-stop. It's more of a safety margin actually with this 3-stop, because as I say, it's only lap 24 to 27, but we've seen in previous races such as Bahrain earlier, punctures could happen so easily. And look at that, even after making a 3rd stop, we're still 19.6 seconds ahead of Lewis Hamilton. I don't understand what was going on. Like, as soon as everyone did the pit stops, it was just like, and no one was sort of within a second or two of me. It was just like they just fell off the map and just weren't there. It was really weird, this race, and actually got pretty boring. That's why I've cut a lot of it out. And actually, that's why I ended up showing Q1, Q2, Q3, because the race, just so much of it had to be cut out. It was just incredibly boring to try and commentate on. So, this is us. I guess the only thing we can do now is try and push for fastest lap. Look at that. 24.7 seconds. We're sort of back to that stage like we were in qualifying, where we're about 3 seconds a lap faster than the AI. So I don't really understand what's going on there. And I think actually, yeah, we're just going to cut on to the last lap of the race. And as you can see, our tyres, because how hard we've been pushing for a fastest lap, they have fallen off so fast. So we're coming to the final corner for the Japanese Grand Prix. We still corner cut it like a boss, and the game doesn't care. But we're coming across the line for our 5th win in a row. Get in there, Kimi.
5 race wins in a row. What a wonderful result. Well done.
that's another trophy to add to Kimi Raikkonen's already full cabinet. A race win for the Finnish driver in today's race.
Sometimes a driver just feels comfortable in the car and is dialed into the track, making for an unbeatable combination.
Well, what a weekend that has been. Please join us next time for another thrilling instalment of this Formula One season.
So there we are, guys. Sebastian Vettel ended up getting second place, finishing off a Ferrari 1-2. And we were 50 seconds ahead of Sebastian Vettel. I don't understand. I don't get it. They're meant to be Legend AI. He did the same number of stops as me. He ended on the prime tyre. So whether he did option prime, I don't understand. But he was just so slow. And I'm just going through the race directory. And as you can see, the only corner cuts we got really were lap 20 to 25. So that was already when we had the massive gap over them. But that's been it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. As you can see, our lead has now opened up to 106 points over Lewis Hamilton. So, thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.